Hi everyone, this is D. Mary Suguna, lecturer in English, Sir CRR College for Women, Eluru. I am here to enrich and add to your knowledge about interview skills from communication and soft skills too, which is common for all UG programs. Of course, we all need interview skills. Before we go into the deep study on interview skills, let us first understand the definition of an interview. What is an interview? Interview is a process in which a potential employee is evaluated by an employer for employment in a firm or company or an organization. An interview is a formal meeting where one provides answer to the question asked by the interviewer. In one word, we can say interview is one-on-one conversation. It is also said as two-way communication. One is the speaker and the another one is listener. The person who asks questions is known as interviewer and the person who responds to the questions is known as interviewee. Yes, interview is a process where the potentiality or an ability of an employee is examined on the grounds of the values of a firm, company or an organization. It is not an informal meeting, rather, it is a formal meeting held as per the rules and regulations of the institution. Let me put it in a simple term. Interview is one-on-one conversation and a two-way communication where one asks questions and another responds to it, even if it is a wide range of situations. Let me present to you the significance of an interview and why an interview should be conducted and what is the necessity of it. The significance of an interview. The interview is one of the most critical points in the job search process. The candidate first sends an application and curriculum vitae to be called for an interview. Normally, it is the final stage in the selection process. The interview board consists of more than one interviewer. The purpose is to find out whether the candidate is suitable for a job or a seat in a firm, company, or an organization. We see in today's world, getting job or placement in a firm, company, or an organization is highly competitive and challenging. Attending an interview is most important and challenging aspect. Getting a job in a reputed firm or a company or an organization, the candidate first sends an application along with his or her curriculum vitae, and based on that curriculum vitae, the candidate, he or she, will be called for an interview. It is an indication that you have successfully completed in all the stages of pre-interview and entered into the final stage of selection process for the job or placement. As we know, the interview board consists of more than one person. Based on the interview, the questions will be fired rapidly on all principles of the firm or company or an organization. What is the purpose of conducting an interview? The major purpose of conducting an interview is the interview was conducted by any organization is to look into the mind of eligible candidate to assess their strengths and weaknesses and recognize if the candidate is suitable for their organization. They also assess the candidate on their physical, mental, and psychological attitudes. Facing an interview board only needs a cluster of skills like communication skills, thinking skills, body language, reasoning attitude, and presentation skills. The major purpose of conducting an interview is to look into the minds of an eligible candidate and to assess their knowledge on the subject and the communication skills, presentation skills, etc., which abides the principles of the firm or company. It is also to understand the strengths and weaknesses of the candidate and to know whether the interviewee is suitable for holding the job or not of that company. Here, we can also understand that physical appearance plays a vital role as it gives good impression which ultimately draw the due respect and attention of an interviewer. The mental ability in the another important aspect as he or she listens carefully and thinks quickly. Stress and anxiety, person's character's ability to handle the job and attitude toward the responsibilities. All these skills towards an interview displayed only if he or she has good communication skills, maintains body language, and good presentation skills. We need to make ourselves ready in advance on all grounds of expected questions as we are willing to face an interview. If you think that you have got the skills and you need to demonstrate that skills clearly so that you will be a good fit for a firm, a company, or an organization, which indicates that you are the center for all the questions posed to evaluate the true nature of the candidate on emotional reactions under stressful conditions, to have a direct communication between interviewee and interviewer. Dear students, we know that everyone is different from the others on grounds of life. So, also in an interview, possession of skills alone won't give you a job unless and until you demonstrate and display those skills that you possess clearly in front of the interviewers. In a wide range of situations, you will be centered for all the questions posed by the interviewer on all grounds of knowledge. An interviewee must have an ability to answer tough questions and to stay cool under pressure is extremely valuable. In a direct interaction between interviewee and interviewer, let us look into the stages of an interview. There are two stages in an interview. One is pre-interview stage, second one is interview stage. Let us see pre-interview stage. Pre-interview stage. Pre-interview stage is nothing but the candidate should prepare himself in advance, which includes preparation of expected questions beforehand, practicing presentation skills beforehand. That means preparing yourself completely to face an interview. The first important point is getting certificates or documents mentioned in the curriculum vitae ready. The first thing that an interviewee has to do is that getting certificates or documents mentioned in the curriculum vitae ready and arrange all the certificates neatly in a folder in a chronological order so that it will be easy for you to produce at the time of an interview. Once again, refer the call letter to make sure that you haven't forgot anything mentioned in letter. Second point is grooming. Grooming is nothing but appearance. Generally the things that you do to mark your appearance clean and neat. It means to brush up the subject knowledge and other related topics before going for an interview. It is like a trial for an interview. In a single word, we can also say that you should update yourself with general knowledge, current affairs, and topics related to a company or a firm or an organization. Third point is check out the competition. An interviewee has to check whether the competition is high or low and compare yourself with the co-competitors and understand your capability. This helps you to do better in the interview. Next point is getting a simple but decent dress. It is very important where an interviewee gave a positive impression about himself to the interviewer. Wearing formal dress and comfortable dress gives you confidence. Most probably, wear neatly ironed clothes and polished formal shoes. Avoid carrying unnecessary things which interrupts you at the interview. Neatly combed hair, neither too funky nor too greasy. Next important point is research about organization. The fifth important thing in pre-interview stage is that one should have a complete information about the institution. Try to gather information about the firm or an organization and assemble relevant information beforehand. It makes you more easy. Another important point is polish your general knowledge. Practicing and examining yourself on the grounds of subject knowledge, especially general studies, because we know the questions are asked on general topics frequently. And another important point is doing SWOT analysis. It means before going for an interview, do SWOT analysis. SWOT means strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats or challenges. You need to check yourself. What are your strengths or weaknesses, which inborn or developed since your childhood? It helps you to assess yourself whether you can or you cannot. And the most important point is practicing expected questions. As a part of preparation, everyone has to predict, prepare, and practice answers to some general questions you think the interviewers, and mostly for the questions that are asked frequently. And here are, I would present you the questions that are asked frequently. The first question is, tell us a little about yourself. Why do you want to be with us? Could you tell us why you want to change your job? What are your strengths and weaknesses? Would you be willing to travel? How do you expect to contribute to the field or institution? So, these are all the expected or most frequently asked questions at the time of interview. Next, move on to the interview stage. Interview stage. And here are some points that you should learn how to change or how to mold yourself at the time of your interview. In this, the first point is greeting. Yes, you all know that. Well begun is half done. An interviewee has to wait for his or her name to be announced, to be knock or seek permission before you enter. Do not greet people in an unpleasant manner. Rather, greet them formally and in a pleasant manner. Do not sit until you are asked to sit. And the important thing is maintain eye contact when you greet them. Next point is offering a firm handshake. When you meet the interviewer, smile and shake hands firmly if necessary. A firm handshake indicates your confidence and your professionalism. Avoid sticky, limp, and overpowering handshake. The next important point is confidence. The most important point in an interview stage is maintaining confidence. Do not boast, rather, display your subject knowledge. Improve skills like thinking, reasoning, and responding to the questions that are asked. We need to display our knowledge honestly and express your opinions politely, not aggressively, using expressions such as I think, I believe, and in my opinion. Next point is active listening and speaking. Active listening and speaking is one of the most important factor in the interview room. Listen carefully to the interviewer's questions and speak clearly at a moderate pace to avoid having anyone repeat themselves. Avoid answering questions in a shortcut way with just yes or no. In case if you do not hear a question you are asked, do not understand, or a question, you could politely ask for it to be repeated or beg your pardon. You can ask this way, but do not feel embarrassed, but use expressions such as I am sorry, pardon me, could you repeat, I am afraid. Could you clarify? You can use expressions I believe, in my opinion, when you answer the questions. While are you answering the questions, the most important thing is that maintain eye contact when you answer the questions. Maintain your voice at a moderate level, neither too high nor too slow. Body language, eye contact, smile, sitting posture, and hand movements are the most important factors that an interviewee has to concentrate because the observation is being made on the interviewer on these aspects by the interviewers. Body language is a form of non-verbal communication consisting of body postures, gestures, and eye movements. It provides cues to the attitudes or state of mind of a person which may indicate aggression, attentiveness, amusement, pleasure, released mode, etc. So be careful with your body language while you are facing an interview. And the most important thing that you should have to maintain is remember that your body language is presenting the best answer with perfect gestures, sitting postures, and eye contact. An interviewee should not slouch or not too erect or not too bend. Next, communication skills. Another important aspect in an interview stage is communication skills. Communication skills plays a vital role in getting a job through an interview. In the interview room, while communicating, an interviewee should know about matching your communication style to that of an interviewer. Listen carefully and attentively to the questions asked by the interviewer. Avoid interrupting yourself and the interviewer. Try not to use jargon in your answers or questions. Try to use simple vocabulary and pronunciation clearly. Another point is thinking skills in an interview room. When the question is asked or posed, first think over the question deeply, but that thinking process should not take long time. Rather, guide thinking and quick response waits a lot. So, think shortly and respond quickly. And another point is alertness. You should be very alert to the questions posed by the interviewee at the time of an interview. Next important point is sincerity. It is the most important aspect of an interviewee. An interview. An interviewee should possess sincerity. Display your skills, subject knowledge, and your experiences sincerely. If an interviewer asks about your achievements, tell them boldly and honestly. Another important point is positive attitude. Create positive impression with your positive attitude. give the best impression at the first sight itself. An interviewee should develop a positive approach in the interview room. Be positive in your attitude and be positive in your approach and be positive in your answers or in your communication. And another most important point is arriving on time. Maintaining time is most and highly influential factor and deciding factor for a job. Time is most precious, valuable. Therefore, manage your time accordingly. Arriving on time means being on time, not to be late or not to come too early, and don't arrive with baggage. Therefore, little early is better than too early. In one word, we can say that be before the time to be on time because time waits for none. And the last important point in interview stage is dressing. As we know, due respect is given when dressing style is good. While attending an interview, make sure that wear formal dress with tuck in. This is an indication that you maintain a well-disciplined life at outside with your dress sense. Therefore, wear dress comfortable and decent colors. This helps you to draw your attention to the question posed. The aspects and the skills which you have shown on the screen are the major skills that an interviewee should possess. Just imagine that you are the center. If you have all these skills, such as subject knowledge, positive attitude, communication skills, presentation skills, academic excellence, self discipline, dress code, and all of the required skills, one should be well equipped with all these skills to prove yourself in an interview. Here in this chart, I refer or address an interviewee. Possessing all these skills helps you to perform well in an interview. Here, SWOT means strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat. Opportunities will not be repeated, so do the best to capture the opportunity. Having and possessing all these skills helps you and leads you to the final step called success. So, finally, conclusion. The conclusion of the interview goes on formally, where the interviewer will ask the candidate if she or he has any questions. Ultimately, the resume is the main and primary tool which leads you towards interview and finally gets you the job. Therefore, excellent interview skills are especially communication skills essential for job searchers. References also play a vital role in the interview process. Keep all the answers positive and use simple words. It is also important to be aware of the top skills that employers are looking for in employee. With this, I conclude the session and I wish you all to imbibe these interview skills which help you to face the interview and help you to get hired. Wish you all good luck for your interviews and job search in the future. And these are all the frequently asked questions. The first question is, how do you answer the questions in the interview about your skills? Second question is, what do you find are the most difficult situations to face? Third question, what are your biggest strengths and weaknesses? Fourth one, why do you want this job? Out of all candidates, why should we hire you? Fifth question, describe your experience about your previous job. Sixth question, what skills can you demonstrate in the pre-interview stage? Seventh question, describe the important skills which we need to focus on in the interview stage. Eighth question, explain how does body language helps an interviewee to get placement. Ninth question, write the importance of communication skill in the interview room. References, these are all the references, the books that I referred to make this presentation. Thank you.